Hi guys, in this tutorial video I will show you symbology encoding in Smart Client. So at first I will give you a short tutorial to symbology encoding using the GMedia Smart Client style editor. I will create some simple styles using the SLD cookbook, and then I will create some sophisticated styles with an hatch fill and attribute-based symbologies. Afterwards, I will show you how to handle these symbologies in the administrator, how to create new libraries, how to import them, or how to edit it. As I mentioned before, we create some simple styles using the SLD cookbook. SLD stands for Styled Layer Descriptor, and it is an XML schema specified by the Open Geospatial Consortium for describing the appearance of map layers. In August 2007, the SLD specification was split up into two new OGC implementation specifications, namely the Symbology Encoding SE and the Styled Layer Descriptor SLD. So there is an SLD cookbook available in the internet, and as a first example we will create a point styled as a red circle with a diameter of 6 pixels. Okay, so I will switch to Smart Client Style Editor. How to do so? At first we have to create a new library. We'll name it tutorial library, and click on save. And now you can choose if you want to create the style with the GMedia Smart Client Style Editor, or if you want to upload your XML file directly. So we want to create it with the Style Editor. So from Editor, I will name it Point Tutorial. As a geometry type, I will choose Point, and then as a load editor. So Style Editor is opening, and further I will show you again for this simple style. It is okay if we will stay in the easy mode here. At first I will change the unit to pixel, so we are not scale dependent in the Smart Client afterwards. As a point type, you can see there are some default styles, and we will take the circle. The next option you have to choose is the size of the point, so 6, and confirm it with the enter button. Then if you have another default style as circle, you can give here a rotation, either hard-coded or databased, but more details to database attributes afterwards. So then we will change the color to red. The anchor point and the displacement is okay. So I will click on save. And here we go. The point tutorial is now in the symbology definitions, where all my symbologies are listed. And we can either edit the style, so click on the pencil to edit the style, or you can delete it with a click on the X button here. Now I will show you another simple style from the SLD cookbook. This time I we'll take this red filled circle with a stroke colored in black, and the stroke has a thickness of 2 pixels. Okay, so I'll switch back to my library in Smart Client Administrator, and in the list of symbology definitions I have the chance to add a new symbology. So I click on Add. I have to choose again if I want to use the style editor or upload my own XML file. So I want to create it with the style editor. I will name it point with stroke as a geometry type. I have to choose point, of course. Click on Load Editor, and Style Editor is opening up. I will leave the unit as meter so you can see the difference or the changes better. So I'll switch back to my circle. 6 is my size, and my color is red. But as you can see, there is no option here where I can define a stroke for my circle. Okay, so I have to switch from my easy mode here to the expert mode, and there are much more options in this expert mode. Okay, I can right click on my scale and add every geometry type which is available in the style editor to add 2 geometry types for one symbology. Okay, but this is too complicated in this example, so I click on my point. I can see here my unit is meter. I have no geometry functions, and I have an graphic as a type. Okay, so I click on edit of this graphic, and now I will get to the options which are the default options in the easy mode: the size, rotation, opacity, and the displacement in X or Y. So there is my mark type. My mark type in this case is in circle, and I have already an fill. So what I have to do is add and stroke. Say we want the thickness of 2 meters. In this case I will switch back shortly to pixel. We have a black colored stroke, 100% opacity, and I will go back here to my point and switch back to pixel. Click on save, and now we have our point with a stroke. I can click on edit. And as you can see, red filled circle with a 2 pixel thickness of stroke. In this third example, I want to use my database to get my attributes out of it. Okay, so I want to create a new symbology, create it with the style editor. As always, I will name it area with attributes as a geometry type. I'll go with a polygon here. Click on editor, and the style editor is opening up. So at first I switch to my pixel as a unit, and as you can see, you have some more options for your polygon symbology. You can change your frame, the frame of the polygon, the area. Okay, so here you can see if you want to have a standard stroke or no stroke or any shape here. We will go with an 2 pixel thickness in the stroke, and every other option is okay here. In the area I can say if I want an one color filled polygon, or if I want to have transparency within the polygon, or a single hatch or a cross hatch. Okay, these are the default 4 fill options in the style editor. In this case I will go with the single hatch, change the color to red, the opacity is okay. Then you can see how thick the strokes are within, how thick the hatches are within the polygon, and the gap between one hatch to the other. I will change it to 10, so we have a little bigger gap between 2 hatches. And then I can say my rotation is 45 degrees or 0 degrees, or every integer number is allowed here. Okay, but in this case I want to have my rotation out of the database. I can show you my database. For example, in the school I have a column named hatch, and there is my rotation saved as an integer number. Okay, so if I execute this query and go to the end of my database, I can see here 60 degrees, 0 degrees, 90 degrees, and 130, for example. So I want to have my rotation out of this column. Okay, so at first I have to click on this database symbol behind the text box. And as you can see, there's just a normal text box. Okay, so you have to type in the name of the column in your database. Okay, if I switch back to my database, I have here my columns, and my column name is hatch. Okay, so the preview doesn't change at all if you switch from normal values to database values. Because if you start Jmedia Smart Client, you have a look at the database if there is a column named hatch. If not, you will fall back to the default rotation, in this case of 45 degrees. Otherwise, you will take the rotation out of the column in the database. The last example which I will show you in this tutorial is we want to label a line. So for example, you want to display the name of the streets. So we'll have to add a new symbology from editor. As always, I will name it line with label. This will be a line as geometry type. Style editor is opening up. So I will switch to the expert mode, because the easy mode only allows one geometry type. So I switch to the expert type because I want to have a line and a text as my symbology. So here I can change the options of the line. I will go with an 2 pixel width of thickness. It's okay here. And then I have to add a text symbolizer here. So I have some options here to define. I also say pixel as a unit. The label text is database driven. So in my database there is a column named str name, street name, and this will be my label text. Then I increase the size to 14, and I say it's an italic styled label. And then the most important thing here is where on the line should the text be displayed. So I have to click on line placement, and you'll see you have the initial gap. This is from the beginning of the line to the first letter of the str name in this case. Then I have the gap. The gap is between two names, and I have the option if I want to repeat the text. If I click on it, the checkbox will be unchecked. So only one time the street name will be displayed on the line. I will have this, and a line is should the text aligned on the line. If not, I will get something like this, but I want to have it along the line. So I say 10 pixels between two labels, okay? Because as I see here, I have chosen pixel as a unit, and so the line placement will get this unit. And then, yeah. Here I can say if the text will be on the line start, in the midpoint, or whatever, but I will say a non-geometry function for my label text here. So this is all of this. I click save, and the symbology is saved here, line with label. I can also edit it, or I can delete it. Now I will show you how to handle your libraries in the administrator, like how you can export the library, how you can import it, or how you create alternative symbologies, because the default symbology you have defined isn't good enough. So at first I want to show you how to create an alternative symbology. So you have to check one of the symbology definitions up here, and then you can say add an alternative symbology. Okay, I will click on from editor, and then you see here in the preview your default symbology. As you can see here, point tutorial is your symbology. So you can create categories for your alternative symbology. So I will say these are tutorial alternative, and then change some options here. Instead of a circle, I will have a star, and this star should have a size of 10, a little bit bigger than the standard symbology we have defined some steps before. And change the color from red to blue. Okay, and then click on save. So you'll jump back to your library form, and when you check the box again, you'll see you have defined for this symbology an alternative symbology. Okay, the category is tutorial alternative. So if you create one for this, for example, and you have to name the category the same, just for usability. Okay, so maybe you have the request to give the created library to another person, or you want to use your own library on different machines and you don't want to create it time and time and time again. So you can click on export here, and then a window opens up where you can say open with or save data. So I will save it as tutorial library.zip in my trainings folder, click on save, and when I go to this folder, you will see the tutorial underlines library.zip, and if I click into it, you will see your library. You have 4 different XMLs which we created steps before, and another folder with your alternative symbology in there. Okay, so you want to use it on another machine. So just for the tutorial, I delete this symbology library and click on import library here. Select the library. There is only .zips are allowed here. I'll switch to my trainings folder, select the .zip file. Everything is okay here, and click on save. So there are my 4 different symbologies. When I check the box here, you can see the alternative symbology here. The last few steps, I showed you the theory to creation of different symbologies or alternative symbologies. But now I will show you how to effect these steps the smart client. So I'll have to change the symbology of some features in my Las Vegas project, and then I will start smart client, and I can show you how your own created symbologies are displayed in the smart client. So the library is finished here. I'll switch to my features list because I have some. I'll go to my Las Vegas hardening project. So I will take my hotel points for my point tutorial, the symbology. click on symbols here and edit this display rule. So I'll switch to my tutorial library and I will take point tutorial as my symbology for the hotels. Click on save, so everything is fine. I'll go back here to my features list. Go on the second page. Choose schools. Also change the display rule here, namely to my area with attributes. You know, this is my area where the hatch fill is taken from the database. So click on save, and again, just to be sure, go back to the features list. Then I will assign the line label to my streets. So go to symbols, edit the display rule, change to my tutorial library, and take the line with label. Symbology here. You don't have to click the second time on save, it's just fine here. Click on features, and yeah, these three symbologies for the first time are okay. So I display schools, so you can see your hatch fill. Okay, as you can see, the different database values and different hatch fill rotations here. 45 degrees and 90 degrees or 0 degrees or whatever. Then I will hide the schools and display the hotel points, these small red filled circles. And for this symbology we already defined an alternative symbology in the administrator. Okay, so you can see here alternative symbologies. Here is default, our red filled circle, and there is this predefined tutorial underline alternative. And if I click on this, you can see the red filled circle switches to a blue filled star. And the last symbology we have created before is the label on lines. So I'll hide my hotel points and display the streets. As you can see, there are my streets labeled with the street's name, like Sahara here. And if I zoom in, more and more lines are labeled. So maybe the width of the line is a little bit too much, but just to demonstrate how the labeling with the symbol style editor is working. The last thing I will show you in this tutorial is how to use resources for your symbology. Okay, so you have, for example, an SVG and you want to use it in different symbologies of your library. So what you to do first is go to your library and click on the second tab here named resources. There you have to add at first a folder. I will name it point, you have to click on the name of the library here and add this folder. Okay, so here is our point folder, and then you have to select a resource. I will take this SVG, click on open, see here and here that everything is fine. Select the folder where I want to upload the resource to, click on upload files, and now the SVG is in the point folder. So I'll switch back to my general lab symbology form, and I want to edit my alternative symbology, okay, for my hotel points. So I click on the point underline tutorial. We already created an alternative symbology, so I only have to click on the pencil here to edit the alternative symbology. Style editor is opening up, and now I'll switch to the expert mode. Go to my point symbolizer. Everything is fine here, pixels unit, and then I have to edit the graphic. I can see my mark type. I want to delete this mark type, so the fallback is just a square, and I want to use an external graphic. Okay, so as you can see here in this drop down box, there is the folder point and then the SVG red arrow up. Okay, so click on save, and I will open up GMedia Smart Client.